They came on what we called Tuesday. Just another Tuesday. I was sipping my morning coffee, scrolling through news on my tablet, when the sky turned an unnatural shade of purple. Not the soft lavender of dawn or the rich violet of twilight. This was electric, alien, wrong. I'm Callista Vega, former Marine Corps combat engineer, now working maintenance at Vandenberg Space Force Base. I thought I'd seen everything until that Tuesday. The Morituri ships blotted out the sun with their massive obsidian hulls. They didn't announce themselves or make demands. They simply began the slaughter. Precision antimatter strikes on military installations, government centers, and power grids across the globe. Billions dead in hours. I was in the subterranean levels when the base was hit. The concussive force collapsed most of the upper levels, but the reinforced engineering bay held. When I crawled out 3 days later, Earth was already theirs. The Morituri didn't want our resources or our land. They wanted slaves, test subjects, entertainment. They collected us like insects, herded us into processing centers where they implanted neural tags to track and control us. I got mine on day 7, a burning insertion at the base of my skull that felt like liquid fire being poured directly onto my brainstem. Commander Thaddeus West found me 2 weeks after the invasion, scavenging in the ruins of what used to be Santa Barbara. His resistance cell had discovered that the neural tags had a flaw. They could be dampened with a specific electromagnetic frequency. It wasn't a removal, but it gave us some freedom. They think we're broken, West whispered as we huddled in the remains of an underground parking garage. They think we'll accept this. Beside him sat Dr. Indira Lakshmi, formerly of DARPA. Her eyes held the haunted look we all carried now, but behind it burned something else. Calculation, determination. The Morituri have technology we've never seen, she said, but they have one critical weakness. What's that? I asked, nursing my meager ration of filtered water. Arrogance, she replied. They never considered we might fight back. They never imagined we'd have the will to avenge our dead. That night, while Morituri patrol ships cast their crimson searchlights across the ruined cityscape, we began planning humanity's revenge. The resistance grew underground, literally and figuratively. We used abandoned subway tunnels, mine shafts, and sewer systems, places the Morituri rarely bothered to patrol. Their overconfidence was their first mistake. Orion Blackwood joined us 3 months after the initial invasion. A brilliant hacker who had been working for the NSA, he brought invaluable knowledge about the Morituri's communication systems. Their technology was advanced, but not incomprehensible. They used quantum entanglement for instant communication across vast distances, but their local networks used something similar to our own wireless protocols. They've never faced a serious cyber threat, Orion explained during one of our strategy sessions. The dim emergency lights cast long shadows across his gaunt face. Their home world is unified. No internal conflicts means minimal cybersecurity. Dr. Lakshmi nodded thoughtfully. And they've conquered so many worlds without resistance that they've grown complacent. I spent my days scavenging for tech components and my nights helping build what Dr. Lakshmi called the equalizer, a device that could temporarily disable Morituri neural control systems. It wasn't just about freeing more humans. We needed to study their tech up close. Our first major operation targeted a Morituri processing center in what used to be Denver. Commander West led a team of 30 resistance fighters. I was responsible for placing the equalizer devices at strategic points around the facility's perimeter. The raid was a qualified success. We freed over 200 humans and captured a wealth of Morituri technology, including one of their neural control interfaces. But we lost 17 people, including Commander West. I watched him die, taking 3 Morituri guards with him as he covered our retreat. Back at our main base, an abandoned missile silo in Wyoming, Dr. Lakshmi made a breakthrough while studying the captured technology. Their neurotags aren't just control devices, she announced to our leadership council. They're two-way interfaces. The Morituri are collecting data on human psychology, physiology, everything. For what purpose? Asked Valeria Nieto, our new commander after West's death. To perfect their control systems for future conquests, Dr. Lakshmi replied grimly. We're not just slaves, we're prototypes. That night, lying on my thin mattress in the cramped quarters I shared with 7 other fighters, I thought about my family. My parents in Puerto Rico, my sister in Boston. All gone now. I clenched my fists until my nails cut into my palms. We're not prototypes, I whispered to the darkness. We're your extinction event. A year into the occupation, we discovered something that changed everything. Orion and his tech team had been systematically infiltrating the Morituri information network, planting backdoors and collecting data. During one such incursion, they found reference to something called the Harvest Protocol. It's happened before, Orion explained, his voice tight with controlled rage. Earth isn't their first conquest. They've done this to 17 other civilizations. The Harvest Protocol was clinical in its brutality. The Morituri would occupy a planet for precisely 5 Earth years, using the population for research, labor, and entertainment. Then they would extract all valuable resources, collect genetic samples, and sterilize the planet with atmospheric destabilizers, leaving nothing behind. We have 4 years left, Valeria said flatly. Dr. Lakshmi had been unusually quiet during the briefing. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady. We've been working on defense when we should be focusing on offense. She revealed that she and a small team had been reverse engineering Morituri weapons technology. They had made a critical discovery. The neural tags implanted in humans could be reprogrammed to interface with Morituri systems. Their ships, their weapons, their communication networks, they all use the same basic quantum architecture, she explained. And now, so do we. She tapped the back of her neck where her neural tag was implanted. The implications were staggering. We could potentially hijack their systems using our own implanted tech. But the plan was dangerous. Reprogramming the neural tags could cause brain damage or death. I need volunteers, Dr. Lakshmi said. People willing to risk everything. I was the first to step forward. My reasons were simple. I had nothing left to lose and everything to avenge. The procedure was excruciating. Dr. Lakshmi and her medical team worked with makeshift equipment in what used to be the missile silo's medical bay. They had to keep me conscious during the reprogramming to ensure my neural pathways weren't damaged. When it was done, I could sense the Morituri systems around me, a constant hum of data at the edge of my consciousness. 9 others underwent the procedure. 2 didn't survive. Together, we formed the first strike team of what we called Project Nemesis. Our mission was to infiltrate a Morituri command ship, access their mainframe, and plant a virus that would spread throughout their fleet. As we prepared for the operation, I found myself standing next to Kaito Tanaka, one of the other neural-enhanced soldiers. He had been a commercial pilot before the invasion. "Are you afraid?" he asked quietly. I considered the question. "Not of dying," I replied. "Only of failing." He nodded, understanding perfectly. "For Earth. For everyone they've taken," I added. The infiltration of the Morituri command ship above former Chicago was the most daring operation humanity had attempted since the invasion. We modified a captured Morituri shuttle, using our neural interfaces to bypass security protocols. 8 of us, the neural-enhanced strike team, boarded under the cover of a magnetic storm that our scientists had managed to induce using repurposed Morituri weather control technology. The sensation of directly interfacing with alien technology through my neural tag was disorienting. Information flooded my consciousness: ship schematics, security patrol patterns, atmospheric composition data. It took all my concentration to filter what was useful from the noise. Aboard the command ship, a massive structure the size of Manhattan, we split into 4 teams. Kaito and I were tasked with reaching the central processing core and uploading Orion's virus, while the others created diversions and secured our escape route. Remember, Valeria had told us before departure, this isn't just about disrupting their operations. The virus will extract their complete tactical database. We need to know their vulnerabilities if we're going to survive. Moving through the ship was nightmarish. The architecture was designed for beings with different proportions than humans. Doorways too tall and narrow, corridors that branched in non-intuitive patterns. Worse were the chambers, where we glimpsed humans and other alien species being subjected to experiments too horrific to describe. We were nearly discovered twice. Once by a patrol of Morituri guards, tall, spindly creatures with iridescent exoskeletons and too many eyes, and once by an automated security system that Kaito barely managed to deactivate with his neural interface. When we reached the central core, a vast chamber filled with crystalline structures pulsing with blue-green light, I felt a surge of vindication. This was the heart of their operation, the brain that controlled their dominance over Earth. Kaito stood guard while I interfaced directly with the system, the neural tag at the base of my skull burning, as if it might melt into my spine. I uploaded Orion's virus, a masterpiece of adaptive code designed to look like routine system maintenance, while it spread throughout the Morituri network. What we didn't anticipate was the countermeasure. As soon as the virus began its work, the ship's AI triggered an automated defense, a psionic feedback pulse that shot through my neural connection. The pain was beyond description, like having every nerve ending set on fire simultaneously. I heard Kaito scream as he was hit by the same pulse. I collapsed, blood pouring from my nose and ears, but not before confirming the upload was complete. How we made it back to the shuttle remains a blur in my memory. I have flashes, Kaito dragging me through corridors, an explosion somewhere in the lower decks, one of our diversion teams, the cold shock of space as our shuttle disconnected from the command ship. Of the 8 who went on the mission, only 3 returned alive. But we brought with us the most valuable intelligence humanity had acquired since the invasion began, complete data on Morituri fleet movements, weapons capabilities, and most importantly, the location of their main wormhole gateway in orbit around Jupiter, the portal through which their reinforcements arrived. We finally had a target. The final phase of Project Nemesis took 6 months of preparation. 6 months during which the virus we planted spread silently through the Morituri network, gathering information and creating backdoors. 6 months in which Dr. Lakshmi and her team worked feverishly to adapt Morituri technology for our purposes. The neural enhancements evolved. The surviving members of the original strike team, myself included, underwent a second procedure that expanded our interface capabilities. The pain was worth it. We could now operate Morituri vessels and weapon systems with nothing but thought. Our plan centered on Jupiter's orbit, where the Morituri had established their wormhole gateway, a massive structure that connected our solar system to their homeworld and empire beyond. It was heavily defended, but thanks to the virus, we had detailed schematics and security protocols. Humanity pooled its remaining resources for this final gambit. We had captured or cobbled together 17 ships capable of space flight. Most were small Morituri shuttles and transports, but we also had 3 larger vessels that the Resistance had painstakingly retrofitted with weapons. The assault fleet gathered in the shadow of Saturn, using the planet's rings to mask our heat signatures and communications. 10,000 humans, all that remained of our once organized resistance, prepared for the battle that would determine our species' fate. I commanded one of the larger vessels, renamed Thermopylae, in honor of ancient Earth defenders who faced impossible odds. My neural interface hummed with data as I connected to the ship systems. "This is Captain Vega to all ships," I transmitted. "Today we fight not just for ourselves or for Earth, but for 17 other worlds that have fallen to the Morituri. Today we become vengeance incarnate." The attack began with a coordinated electromagnetic pulse that temporarily disabled the gateway's outer defenses, a trick we'd learned from studying Morituri technology. We surged forward, our small fleet against their armada. The space around Jupiter became a maelstrom of energy weapons, missile contrails, and debris. We lost ships quickly, but each one sold itself dearly. Our neural interfaces gave us an edge the Morituri never expected. Humans operating alien technology with intuitive skill they hadn't thought possible. The gateway itself was our true target. Dr. Lakshmi had determined that with precise strikes to key structural points, we could cause a catastrophic overload in the wormhole generator. The resulting spatial distortion would not only destroy the gateway, but create a cascading failure that would propagate through to the Morituri homeworld. Thermopylae took devastating damage as we approached the gateway. Life support failed on 2 decks. Our main weapon systems were crippled. But we had come too far to fail. Final approach, I announced to my crew, blood trickling from my nose as my neural interface strained under the load. Prepare the payload. The payload was our secret weapon, a modified antimatter warhead enhanced with Morituri quantum technology. Dr. Lakshmi theorized it would create a reaction that would poison the wormhole's subspace field, making it impossible for the Morituri to establish another connection to our solar system. As we closed on the target, a massive Morituri dreadnought moved to intercept us. We were outgunned, outmassed, with no chance of survival. For Earth, I whispered and activated the final protocol. The 8 surviving neural-enhanced pilots, scattered across different ships in the fleet, linked minds through our interfaces. Together, we seized control of every remaining human vessel simultaneously. The maneuver we executed, a complex, multi-vector assault, would have been impossible to coordinate conventionally. The dreadnought couldn't track all of us. 3 ships, including Thermopylae, broke through. With the last of our engine power, we rammed the gateway at its most vulnerable junction, detonating our warheads in perfect synchronization. The explosion was silent in the vacuum of space, but through my neural interface, I felt the fabric of reality tear. The wormhole collapsed, then inverted, sending a devastating pulse back through to Morituri space. As consciousness faded, my ship breaking apart around me, I glimpsed the gateway disintegrating in spectacular fashion, taking with it the Morituri command ships in a cascade of quantum fire. My last thought before darkness claimed me was simple satisfaction. They never saw it coming. 3 years later, I stand on a hillside overlooking the rebuilding efforts in what once was Seattle. My neural interface is still active, a permanent part of me now, though repurposed for reconstruction rather than war. The Morituri Empire is gone, their civilization destroyed by the very technology they used to subjugate others. The remaining Morituri forces in our solar system, cut off from their homeworld and leadership, surrendered within weeks. We've since made contact with survivors from other worlds the Morituri had conquered. Together, we're rebuilding, sharing technology and knowledge. The neural interface tech, refined and made safer, has become the foundation of a new human evolutionary step, direct communion with our technology and with each other. Sometimes at night, I still feel phantom pain where the Morituri first implanted their control device. But when I look up at the stars, I feel something else too, pride. Humanity didn't just survive. We delivered justice for 17 worlds. The aliens never saw it coming, that the species they sought to enslave would be the one to set the galaxy free.